So that was 2 seconds, 45. I found this scene yesterday while I was out wandering with this coarse sand that's windblown against a slope with all these interesting patterns. And I really liked how it had this diagonal emphasis from the upper left down to the lower right. So I used my 300mm lens and crafted a composition, and I always use my framing device here in order just to see how things work. It's called the artist's view catcher. But that allows me to figure out where to put the camera, then fine-tune the composition, and pretty simple photo. But there are some clouds in the sky, and today is going to be my last full day here because there is a storm that is going to be rolling in starting tomorrow. And if it's anything like the past few storms, it may not be the best time to be here. But it definitely feels great to expose some film. And now I'm going to get things packed up and return to a canyon that I visited for the first time a couple years ago. I photographed last year, and I'm very curious to see if all the rain from the former hurricane, the tropical storm that went through here in August, as well as all the rain last week, if it is still even accessible, because it's a pretty cool canyon. But pretty awesome morning here in Death Valley. Well, I've arrived at the little bend in the canyon that I photographed last year. And you'll see that back behind me there. And despite this being a very similar time of day as when I photographed it, there are some clouds in the sky which kill any chance of reflected light. So still very cool looking, but certainly just kind of flat. But this canyon is still accessible because that was one of the things that I was curious about. Though some of the ledges that you have to traverse to get here have been eroded, so it's definitely a little bit more sketchy, but it's still possible. But you can definitely see the impact of the floods going through here and depositing some more of the gravel down there. But it is kind of crazy to think that I've hauled my 8x10 back in here in the past 2 years. Kind of wonder if anyone else has brought a 8x10 back in here. Maybe I'm the first. I don't know. One other story though. Yesterday afternoon, I went out and scouted the mud flats, and that's where I found the subject I photographed this morning, as well as another one which I might be able to photograph a little bit later today. And it was a little bit before sunset when I went back to camp, and it is now Saturday morning, so this was Friday night, and saw that my campsite had been poached. So despite my tag on the campsite, someone just decided to set up on my campsite and put their tag over the top of my tag, and I went and talked to them, and they said, this is what it is, and just told me to move along. So don't be that person. Don't be that person. One of the reasons why humans are among my least favorite animal. So, but now I'm going to head back down the canyon, do a little more scouting, and see what else I could find. But a lot of clouds today, and I think tomorrow night is when the storm is supposed to start making an appearance. So it's going to be a flat light today, but good time for doing a little scouting. Following my visit to the canyon I photographed last year, I drove south and ventured up an alluvial fan to the entrance of a different canyon, this one ending abruptly at a 20-foot dry fall. After securing a campsite for the night back at Furnace Creek, I ventured out on the mud flats and photographed a rock embedded in a mud flow, with an interesting trail behind it. Despite the incident with my campsite being stolen, I'm ending this trip on a high note. I feel calm and with a sense of purpose, something that was lacking in the early days of this year's visit. My morning photo of the coarse sand against the slope of dried mud turned out as I had hoped. I love the patterns and the diagonal emphasis flowing from the upper left to the lower right. The calm morning light provides a pleasing color palette, especially when combined with the subtle warm highlights of the dried mud. I'm also satisfied with my photo of the rock embedded in the mud flow. Not only is the rock itself quite interesting, I love the cracks, the trail, and the remnants of raindrops left behind. It took a while for me to compose this one, but I think I found a solution that works. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you around next time. You may have noticed this video has no ads and no sponsors, and I think it's nicer that way. If you enjoy this ad-free and clickbait-free content and want to help me live my dream, a voluntary contribution through PayPal or by joining my Patreon helps keep my gas tank full and my film freezer stocked. You can find more information by visiting my website at benhorne.com/donate. I also have prints, ebooks, and my annual portfolio is available on my website. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you around next time.